All right, that's some ugly games. Now we have a fun one. 4:25 p.m. Eastern. Dallas Cowboys 6-3, 2-2 on the road at the Minnesota Vikings 8-1, 4-0 at home. We're at US Bank Stadium in Minneapolis, Minnesota. We'll start with the line history in this one. Cowboys Vikings. There we go. We have the Cowboys opening up -1 at -117. There's been a move. Well, it's now -1 and -107. So there's been like a 9 or 10 cent move towards the Vikings. So total wise, opening up 47 as a pick 'em. There's been an 11-cent move to the over at Pinnacle. Then we go to the totals here. We have, or sorry, for the cash flow in this one, we have 7,906 tickets in, 41% of the tickets, 71% of cash on the Cowboys. Then we have 23% of tickets, 71% of cash on the under. We've seen a very interesting line with the Giants at home. And now we have a very interesting line with the Minnesota Vikings at home. 4-0 at home, 8-1, and they're a dog here. The Cowboys coming off a disappointing 31-28 overtime loss at Green Bay, blew a 14-point lead heading into the fourth quarter for the first time in franchise history. They were 195-0 in regular season in the playoffs in that situation. Dak, 27 of 46, 265 yards, 3 touchdowns, 2 picks. CeeDee Lamb caught 11 passes for 150 yards, 2 touchdowns. Dalton Schultz, 6 for 54. With Zeke Elliott out with a knee injury, Tony Pollard ran 22 times for 115 yards and a touchdown, caught 3 for 13. The Packers stormed back, scored the final 17 points, and it was the worst the Cowboys' defense has looked all year. 2 sacks, 2 quarterback hits. They said they're going to be very cautious with Elliott's knee and will not rush him back. Probably I'll save him for Thanksgiving. Cornerback Anthony Brown is in concussion protocol. Vikings coming off their 7th straight win, most impressive of the year, defeating the Bills 33-30 in a wild overtime victory. At Buffalo rallied from a 17-point deficit. They've matched their best record through 9 games since 2009. 7 straight games they've won, best since an 8-game winning streak in 2017. They've rallied to win when trailing with 2.5 minutes less, or 2.5 minutes or less remaining regulation 5 times this year. They believe in each other. And maybe I should stop looking at the stats of their defense because it's getting me in trouble. Although I was fortunate not to get involved with the Bills. There was many times I came close, and I was very, very fortunate. It could have been a worse weekend than it was. Kirk Cousins, 30 of 50 for 350 yards, 357 yards, touchdown, 2 picks. Justin Jefferson, 10 catches for 193 yards and a touchdown. That was the catch of the decade, and for me at this point, the best catch I've ever seen on 4th and 18. It was absolutely spectacular. I was lost for where I could not believe that he could get that high, that he could pull it down one hand and then take it out of the DB. I think it was Lewis, or took it out of Lewis's hands. It was just absolutely spectacular. Absolutely incredible. Dalvin Cook had 14 carries for 119 yards and a touchdown. Their defense again was able to bend and somehow not break. I mean, they didn't get pressure, and 2 sacks, 4 quarterback hits. The Bills were 7 of 13 on first down. The Bills had 311 yards through the air, but the Vikes did enough to win the game. Patrick Peterson, 2 interceptions. We know that Cameron Dantzler got hurt. He's been placed on IR. The cornerback to replace him was the 4th rounder, Caleb Evans, and he left after sustaining a concussion. So who's there? Cornerback. Vikings are 29th in opponent's yards per pass attempt, 28 in opponent yards per play, 31st in red zone defense, but they keep winning football games. It's wild. Take it away for us, Andy. Cowboys, Vikings.
I bet this over. I've kind of settled on that. Like you said, that I like the Dallas defense. I like things about the Dallas defense, but the secondary kind of got beat like a drum late, and they got beat by a rookie and a quarterback who hasn't looked like he's had a connection with his rookies all year. Now you got Jefferson, you've got Hawkinson, you got Thielen, even Cook, and that's the other part too. Cook should be able to run. Cook should have a successful day. It's it's a defense that can probably be beat by Minnesota, but at the same time, Minnesota's very weak outside as well. And the Cowboys offense looked pretty good through I don't know, through 3 quarters there. Like we've seen this offense perform well. Minnesota has turned up a little bit of pass rush. I mean, they've been able to get some pressures, not always getting Holmes and Darius Smith looking like a great grab, but yeah, I think this should be closer to 50. Cowboys playing indoors rather than having to play another northern outdoor game here. I wish they'd been able to pull that out. That was a shitty loss. I had -5 in that one. Got a bad number in the Cowboys. They look great. This offense looked great. That's kind of what I was banking on. Like you can beat up on this Green Bay defense. I think the offense. I think the offense looks a lot better indoors. And yeah, there's a 47 at Chris. I had to grab that.
Yeah, over 47 to -111. I find it interesting that the big bets have come in on the under thus far. There's actually a decent
Yeah.
sample size of tickets for this one, more than any other game except Cleveland Buffalo, and of course the Thursday nighter. Yeah, I get it. I completely get it. The market moving towards the over, so who cares that there's bigger bets coming in on the under? They're offering it at a better price. So I get why you're on the over here. I do. And I know that the Vikings fans who are paying their mortgage because of this Vikings team are laughing. They're laughing at all of us, laughing at the line, saying, "You idiots. We're just going to keep making – you're going to give me the Vikings who are 8-1 as a plus money." And respect to you guys who keep cashing on the Vikings. But for me, this would be a Cowboys or no bet. But Newcorker saying second straight game on the road for the boys could be an issue. Sharpie looking at the over as well. The over makes sense to me. The over makes a ton of sense. It was shocking to see the Cowboys defense look as bad as it did. And did you change your numbers after watching the Packers put up 17 unanswered on that defense?
Not really. I made more adjustments for Green Bay than anything, but I like Dallas. If they're going to be susceptible to that sort of stuff, then this is a bad matchup for them.
Oh, yeah, I think the over does make sense. I think it makes a ton of sense, and I don't know how the Vikings keep doing it. That was but look, that was a big win with it. They shown a ton of heart. I guess that's what it is, Maybe sometimes you have to put a line through numbers when you're seeing the heart that this team is displaying. I won't be on the Vikings under any circumstances. It's Cowboys or pass, and I'd like the over that you are on. Andy on the over 47 right now available at Bet Chris and Bookmaker at -111. Other books have gone to 47.5, which is kind of key.